On this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the difficulty in forming a team, how to do it, what to leverage, what not to leverage. The second small business tip will be leadership, and the third one will be the importance of being the punching bag, especially when you're in the upper management of a company. For the first small business tip, the difficulty of forming a team. This is something where basically I learned the hard lessons throughout my first endeavors due to delivery. However, when I got to the limbic part, there's a couple of lessons that I learned, which is actually the next small business tip. But the advantages and disadvantages of forming a team is this. The advantages are finding people you trust, that are dedicated, that understand the importance of self-development, that understand the concept of pivoting and how iteration is a regular process, because not everyone understands that, and that constantly measure themselves up to the industry standard. Also, people you can rely on to provide a quick turnaround time. The disadvantages now that I've formed the limbic pipeline, and it's actually while I'm recording this episode, is everything is now complete in terms of all the segments of limbic: photography, video production, custom coding from the web development and mobile web. There's a variety of services that we offer from the limbic end now that the pipeline is complete. But one of the disadvantages, and not disadvantages, but an additional step that I didn't really anticipate the gravity of it, was the level of communication and the quick turnaround time when you're speaking to a client. For example, one of the clients we talked to the other day was referring to the fact that it's good that he has me as a point of reference and he just pays me and he doesn't have to deal with the video people, the photo people, the software people. All those different individuals are just different headaches for that business owner to deal with. So in order for him not to deal with those things, my communication in terms of our pipeline has to be very succinct, it has to be very organized, and has to be kind of a step-by-step process. So building that, you can only do that once you jump into the process. You can't build it from the outside. You need to build it from the inside. I formed this team because we have a much bigger plan in mind in terms of not just doing limbic, not just doing zooted delivery. There is a much larger end vision. In order to complete or reach that end vision, we need to have the resources and the manpower to do that, and this is one of the crucial steps in ensuring that that happens, is developing this service pipeline, essentially. For the second small business tip, we're going to be talking about leadership. So when I first started zooted delivery, I had 3 partners that I started with. We're not going to go into any names, but essentially I was having some difficulty managing them, and there was definitely some turbulence that came up within all of our relationships. And once upon a time, someone back in the day told me, and this was someone I was approaching to about the problem, an external individual, and he was essentially telling me, you know what, you're not being much of a leader. You are essentially just looking out for yourself and trying to do all the work yourself. So it is when I heard that at that point, is I'm not trying to be much of a leader. I was like, look man, I'm doing all the work, everyone else is not doing shit. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Now that I've formed the limbic pipeline, I have understood what that individual was talking about in terms of emotional management of other individuals, in terms of understanding circumstance of a variety of people, understanding that there's a million things that come up in someone's life and anyone's life, and being able to be conducive with that. Especially when you're in the beginning, when you're not paying people, you need to be very delicate. There's a thin line in terms of the emotional management of someone that you're not paying, and that line is a very, very tough skill to grasp. So the only way to do it is to see what doesn't work, and what doesn't work is doing everything yourself, not involving them in the overall vision, just telling them to do tasks and then putting the pieces together. All these things are what inhibit you to have the emotional management skills to manage a team. The third small business tip, being the punching bag. This is just something for anyone that's within higher level management of any business, and kind of a strategy that's specific to me. Right now, essentially in the beginning of any grassroots business, you're not gonna have the capital to pay individuals on a regular basis. So being the punching bag in terms of letting them hit you with whatever emotions they have and not reciprocating is huge, because that is something that be empathetic, be conscious, that's them just alleviating and kind of releasing on you, which is something the CEO needs to have the skill to do, is being able to harness their energy, put it within themselves, and then spit it out a little bit later. This punching bag theory is crucial to any grassroots small business, because no one's gonna work for you for the low if you don't treat them right. Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. Being a punching bag is a large part of that, kind of, because you're letting them vent to you. You can't reciprocate though, so there's ways to deal with that, but that's something that you guys don't need to know about. On next week's episode, we're gonna be talking about dwelling is for douchebags, the 2-strike rule, and individuals that are too smart for their own good. What the hell does that mean? About to let you know. Over and out. Swami says. Small business tips. 3 business tips a week will keep your margins deep.